weeks have done an album that we would like to listen to ourselves, and it actually sold pretty well, very well. And there he is, ladies and gentlemen, Jon Kirkman.
I do apologise, I was detained by some zombies.
You got away. So.
I did, yeah, I got away.
When do you turn into a zombie?
Goodness me. I wouldn't be running around like this if I was a zombie, would I?
We just started, so you're okay.
You mean you started without me? How dare you?
Barely, yeah.
The last time I speak to you in the bar. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen, I have just been doing a storytelling with the zombies, so it overran a little bit.
And you did a fine job.
Thank you very much. Were you there?
Yeah, I was there for most of it. Until I came down here to do this. So.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
Fred was on time.
Yeah, that's unusual. That's a first, isn't it, this week? Can I just, well, have you introduced yourselves?
No.
Okay, can we sort of, tell you what, Steve, you do it, let me get my breath back.
Okay.
And I'm sure I'll think of something to ask you once you've done that.
Oh yeah, well, to the far right over here, Carl Groves. Kamran, Shikoh, our guitarist.
Babb.
Fred Schendel.
Susie Bogdanowicz. And Raulston.
Okay, well I've got my breath back now. But this is the second cruise you've done. You did Cruise to the Edge last year. This is the first time with the Moodies. How's the experience been so far?
It's been fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic. First of all, there's no storm. And,
I remember that.
Yeah, most of us aren't seasick. And just the experience of these people are very, very friendly to us. You know, we're getting to see a lot of bands we've never seen before and always wanted to see. So we're having a great time. It's a great ship, too.
And of course, we must welcome Susie, who wasn't on the cruise last year, were you? It's nice to have you here, a rose amongst thorns. What was it like when the guy said, look, we're doing this cruise? I mean, was it shock, horror, or, oh, that's good?
Oh yeah, definitely, oh, that's good. I have 4 little boys, and so replacing me to do that job back home seemed daunting, but there's 3 grandparents watching them, so I think...
Grandparents.
But no, my husband was like, you'll regret it if you don't do it, you need to go. So I'm like,
he's right.
he was right, yeah.
You've got it, I mean, this is so well timed for you guys as well. You've just released a new album, Ode to Echo. You played some songs for it on the pool stage, and I tell you what, I'm still buzzing off the last song, which was a cover of the Monkees song, the Poor Boy song. Everybody know that one? The Monkees, from the Monkees film Head, written by Goffin and King. And seriously, you guys rocked that. You really did.
Thank
a
you.
great song, and a great version of it as well.
Thank you.
So, whose idea was it to cover the song?
I think it was mine. And it's just a song I'd always liked, and we tried it a couple years ago just as almost a side project with some different people, and never released it, never really did anything with it. But I don't remember why we decided to do it for this album specifically.
Well, I know why. It's because we had already been asked to do the Moody Blues cruise. And I thought, you know, it's not an Isle of Wight band, but it certainly fits the era. So if we're going to do anything psychedelic at all, this is the time to do it.
Yeah.
But he introduced me to the song a few years ago, like he said, and as soon as I heard it, I thought, why haven't we done this? I'd never heard the song.
I mean, it's so unlike, because of course, if anyone knows anything about Goffin and King, it's all, everyone thinks 60s, Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow, things like, you know, sort of, it might as well rain until September. And there was another song that they did as well in the film, and this showed people that Goffin and King could be really right on with the sort of the then generation of musicians.
Yes, that's a great song, and a lot of people haven't heard it, and they really don't know it. So,
and it was specific,
and they're shocked when you say it's the Monkees.
It was specifically written for the Monkees because there's lines in the song which refer to Mickey Dolenz being in Circus Boy. Do you remember Circus Boy? We used to get that in the UK as well. Anyone remember Circus Boy? No? You missed a great show. He was called Corky in that, if I remember right. But yeah, it's a great version. And you know, maybe issuing that as a lead track for some radio play? I think you could do well with that.
It's
What
certainly
thoughts
one
about
of
it? If not, please
the
do.
one of the few single-length songs we've ever done. So if we were going to have one, yeah, you probably.
What you do is you issue that, lull them in, and then hit them with the longest.
Yeah.
Now you've also released a remastered album as well, which with extra tracks and things as well. We sold the secret this year. How's that gone?
Went very well. It was an album that we were never quite satisfied with, although most of our fans were more than satisfied with it. But we'd let it go out of print for many years, and it started to show up on eBay and Amazon for $300 and $400 a copy. And so...
And you wanted some of that.
Yeah,
Wanted
that's
some
why
of that
should
action.
they make all that money?
Well, it's $29.95 from us. So...
With a third disc.
yeah, so now we've got a 3-disc set.
The thing is, as well, it's great because the sleeve was designed by another gentleman who was on the cruise, Roger Dean.
Yes, indeed.
What was your connection with Roger Dean? How did you get Roger to sort of design the sleeve? Who made the approach to Roger?
We were working with a promoter about 2004, 2005, who was working with Roger Dean and John Anderson. So he's the guy that put us in touch with John Anderson and Roger. And the cool story about Roger Dean and Glass Hammer is that he actually, and we love the guy. He's a hero. He sent us faxes of different ideas for the album and told us to pick. So you've got Roger's doodles and some of these incredible ideas, and he's actually given us the go-ahead to just, you pick what you want, that's going to be a Roger Dean painting. It was incredible.
Speaking of Roger Dean doodles for that album cover, they are actually up in the gallery. He has them up there, and they are for sale. And at this point, they're not signed, but at some point by tomorrow, they may be.
Yeah.
Okay, well there you go. It's for those who don't know, it's Deck 16. I think it's the Sky and Stars Lounge, and go and ask Roger what it was all about as well, because I always like talking to Roger about where he was at, and he does kind of take you around the houses about how he did things, because he's great, because he sets it up, how he drew a specific piece of art for the album, and quite often he doesn't hear the music before he writes or sort of paints the picture,
right.
Which I always find amazing, because you look at it and you think, yeah, it works. I mean, did you like it when you saw it, obviously?
Loved it. Oh, absolutely. It's one of my favorite pieces that he's done.
Yeah.
Now, as a band, of course, you haven't done much touring. And what I have heard from a lot of people, specifically after your pool gig the other day, God, I got to see this band live again. And I mean, has this maybe prompted you to think, yeah, we really should do some more touring?
Yes, it's all about the opportunities. We're a studio group primarily that really enjoys to come out when it can happen. So we've done, I mean, this year, 2014, will probably, even if we only do 5 or 6 shows, that'll be more than we've done in any other year previous.
Right.
So we're playing in Quebec in May, about May 19th, I think, in Quebec City. And then we're going to come home and look at doing a live album, maybe in our hometown. And then we're still hoping that we can come to the UK in the fall.
That's the big, the big thing that we've been trying to pull off for years is make it possible to get over there. And it's not that people don't want to bring us over; it's just financially it's tough.
Yeah,
to make it all work.
It's up to the promoters, really.
Uh-oh. Did you hit the switch?
They got it back.
There we go.
Well, I mean, what I think is quite amusing, you've only played 5 gigs this year, and to see you at the sound check and the gig, I mean, you guys not get nervous ever? Because it doesn't look
Oh, Lord. Yeah, very nervous.
You guys who say you have a laugh at your concerts, and you nail it.
Thank you.
Well, part of what's making things work better is having a drummer that A, lives in the same town that we do. That makes a big difference.
Yeah, well,
Actually,
actually,
to rehearse, and second of all, that is absolutely as solid as a rock. I mean, we absolutely love playing with this guy. He's unbelievable. And when you have a solid rhythm section foundation, everything else falls into place.
I had if you like, it was quite funny. I stood behind the stage, and there was a few other guys at the back, and and a couple of drummers from the other bands, and they were talking, and this guy said, "Who is this guy? He's killing me." So there you go.
And he's very on.
Ask for a raise. We'll split the difference.
Cool. Last year was kind of the shakedown for this version of the band, so that's when the nerves were happening. So having that out of the way, coming back this year, it all feels a lot better and tighter, more natural, and probably, hopefully next year be that much tighter than we are this year. So.
And of course, the great thing is, you know, we weren't sort of, well, this time around, we're not on the Poseidon adventure, are we? So, well, I've got to ask you, so we'll get this out of the way, because it is the elephant in the room. I'm sure somebody's going to ask the question. Jon Davison. Now, personally speaking, for me, I think the connection is great for Jon Davison and great for Glass Hammer. How do you guys feel about it?
I think it's worked out great for Jon Anderson. I think we can say that, you know, in so much as that we got him the gig with Yes.
Davison.
Davison.
Yeah,
Davison.
Yeah, but Jon Anderson got us on.
Well, Jon Anderson, in fairness, is doing quite well. Well, I mean, yeah.
How many Johns are there? They don't know about the third John that we have hidden away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's worked out great for us. And this year we decided, you know, having brought Carl back and brought Susie back, but having Carl do the show with us last year, it made no sense to have Jon step up and be the new, you know, to sing the new album. So Carl pretty much took the lion's share of the male vocals. Jon is happy with that. And
he is on the album.
He is on the album, yes, and we wanted to make sure that people realize that, you know, he's still involved with us, but until some point in the future, which we may or may not know how things are going to work out, that this is pretty much the band. But, but it's not like he's out of the band.
No, we still function with him in a studio environment. So
well, the great thing about this lineup here now with Carl and with Susie, really, there is no place that you can't go. It's a very versatile and flexible lineup. And also it opens up a lot of the back catalogue as well for performing.
Right. Yeah, that's partly the idea too.
So, what is the big plan? And you've got this gig coming up in Quebec, yeah? And then I was talking to Fred earlier today. You're looking to get a string of dates in the UK. With that, ideally, because there is definitely interest for you guys in the UK, isn't there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a festival, Summer's End Festival. It's not huge, but they're very friendly, and they've tried to make it happen a few years. We have hopes that they'll pull it off this year, and believe me, if they can do it, we'll be there. And then we spoke with some of Roger's people last night who talked about having us do something at the I don't think it's the gallery.
Trading boundaries,
Right, so if we come to the UK, we'll do at least 2 or 3 shows. They talked about bringing the original painting of The Inconsolable Secret and having it out there with us. So a lot of fun stuff could happen.
I've got to ask Carl some questions though, because he's all on the end, isolated on the end, bless him. Carl, this new album for you obviously was a really good opportunity to sort of get people out there. Because obviously you've been in the band before and you'd sung an album, but this new album, obviously the band has sort of moved a little bit along the road. There's a lot more recognition now from when you were first in the band. How did you feel about doing the new album?
It was great. You know, I wrote a little bit, co-wrote a little bit with Fred on the Culture of Ascent album. And this one I was a whole lot more involved, but I thought it was fantastic. And like Steve said, it was kind of a logical thing. You know, we've been playing, you know, for this band a lot, and just to morph from last year's live performances to, hey, let's actually carry that momentum into the studio. And it gelled pretty well, you know, feeding ideas off each other, so it was fantastic. I thought it worked out great.
Well, obviously, like a lot of progressive rock bands, all the members have different things going on. How easy is it to pull everything together, to do gigs, record sessions, things like that? I mean, is it a major pain? As you know, schedules sometimes don't sync up no matter how hard you try.
Well, this was all planned out months ahead of time, so it wasn't really all that difficult. We're in the studio practically, I mean, we run a studio, so we're in the studio every day. and we know how to coordinate those kinds of things. That's what we do. So putting the live band together, now, as Fred said, our drummer is in our home base with us. We can get together, you know, every week to work. So this has been an easy year for us.
Now, it's a bit, for me, guitars are, it's like drummers talking which size drumsticks do you use, but I noticed the other day that it was the Gibson SG you were favouring this time around. Is there a reason for that?
Well, the gold top Les Paul that you remember from last year,
With the broken neck?
yeah, that was the Backline Superstars company guitar, and
Okay.
I liked it better than mine, so I ended up playing it. But yeah, the SG, I always joke, you know, it's a Les Paul without breaking your back.
Yeah, I mean, for those who don't know, Gibson Les Paul, the amount of guitarists who suffer back problems and need a chiropractor, it really is a great deal of them. I mean, more than you might think. Whereas the SG, you can still get that Gibson sound, but it doesn't sort of break your neck.
For those that
And
don't,
this may be blasphemy, but I think it looks better. I like the SG.
yeah. Well, for those that don't know, I come from a classical guitar background. I didn't pick up an electric guitar until I was 15 or 16 or something, which wasn't that long ago. And
Yeah, well, 3 years.
so,
3 years.
so
wasn't it? Yeah.
I'm used to playing recitals, sitting down in a chair comfortably with a footstool with a classical guitar. So really, I mean, I played in some jazz groups, which most I was sitting down as well, and practicing sitting down at home. And when we started playing in the studio, it's not a big deal. I sit down and record, with Glass Hammer. So when we started to play, a couple big dates a year, it was like, well, my back's really hurting, guys. I can't stand up and play for 3 hours like this. And
You try to blame us too, though. It's like, well, you guys want me to stand up. It's like, no, we don't care. No, you want me to stand up. No, we don't care.
Can I just say Robert Fripp doesn't stand
well,
up?
I always joke. I said, I'm going to pull a Fripp on you and break the stool out, but
We don't care. It would be fine.
I'm getting used to it. It's starting to feel normal to stand up. But I prayed on the pull stage that I didn't break a string on the SG, because I'm looking over at that beautiful Les Paul saying, I don't want to strap that to my back. I'll die.
I have to say, for someone, you really make me sick, for someone who hasn't played an electric guitar, you've been playing for years, and it certainly sounds like it. So, thank you for that.
Appreciate that.
He did his
make me
first.
sick.
He did his first string bend the other day on stage. Apparently,
Yeah,
he did his first Tweety Doo.
I had never been to string a whole step with Glass Hammer on a song.
Well, I think that deserves a round of applause.
It feels so wrong, It feels like I'm breaking
Rock
the
and roll.
instrument.
Just like,
Our little boy's growing up.
Next time you do it, it will work fine, and then you'll get cocky and you'll break a string. So, I'm just telling you.
next thing you know, he's going to get a wah-wah pedal. Just wait.
Yeah, we know. Well, as regards the back catalogue, obviously now because you've got Carl in the band and Susie in the band, how difficult is it to pick a set? Because in fairness, although you have been a studio band, you've made quite a few albums. So, I mean, it must be difficult. I know the last time we spoke, you said, well, there's some of the earlier albums we don't touch, for obvious reasons. But, I mean, again, it's taking the first few albums out of the equation. You've got a great catalogue to choose from.
Yeah, I think so. But a lot of it is, first of all, it has to be something that I feel I'm actually physically capable of going back and playing. Because some of that, it's like, what? How on earth? How does this go, first of all? How do my fingers
Well, even though you wrote it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's even worse, isn't it?
A lot of it gets written through, studio techniques of punching in, and you learn something that day, and you record those couple phrases that day, and then you move on, and you never have to
Do
play
you
it
actually
again.
ever hear some of the old albums and then go, yeah?
Frequently. But we went back as far as '94 with Time Marches On, and did it again this year too. So we're happy to go back. And as long as it vocally makes sense and we think we can do it justice, we're happy to do it.
There's a couple of pieces. There's one on Culture of Ascent in particular that I'd actually love to try to drag out and play. Last year I sat down and tried to play the first 5 minutes of it on piano, and it made no sense to me. It was like trying to learn someone else's song. It's like, I'm clearly not the person that wrote this because I don't understand it. And I would have to sit down.
People pretend it's jazz.
Just try to imagine as a new guitar player last year when it's like, oh yeah, we're going to add Night of the North to the set. That's real easy. We've done that before or whatever. I'm sitting there looking at this 25-minute piece, which a lot of it
But it had no guitar.
has no guitar. Oh, well, just make something up.
Yeah, it's a bit like saying...
It's 25 minutes long.
We'd like you to play this Frank Zappa song.
That's the first one I learned how to play.
Oh, there you go. So the drummer's bragging now.
And he do it in the first practice.
Oh yeah, Aaron's like, yeah, you know, I woodshedded it, you know, put it in the headphones for about 3 days. I'm like, I got it.
Definitely need
He's
to
got
ask
it.
for a raise. We'll split the difference. Susie, first of all, apologies for not speaking to you a little earlier. Which kind of working on?
I will hand her the mic.
You you were in sync with the band before, and you've come back. How did it feel coming back and playing with the band?
It feels like no time has been lost. It's just back to...
Because you're responsible for singing one of my favourite songs, and it is a cover song, it's a Yes song, South Side of the Sky, which is, it's another great version. You guys really, as well as your own material, which, I mean, people are probably thinking, these guys must have paid this guy to say all this kind of stuff. But I really honestly believe that you're one of the great undiscovered bands. I know a lot of people are going to discover you through the playing live and some new albums, of course. But I do think that the music that you've done over the years, when you do a cover version like Saturday Night Sky or Corporate song, you really do make it your own, although you don't take it too far away. Because sometimes people cover songs, you go, this is what?
Well, I had heard the original version when we were doing it, but I didn't grow up listening to Yes, so that was just, I wasn't trying to mimic anybody or anything like that, but because I didn't know Yes very well, should I say that? But yeah, it's funny, I've seen it on YouTube, and I'll see people, the comments, they think I'm a guy singing it. I think they think I'm John.
Well, John Anderson in fairness is
like, no, I'm a girl.
Kind of vocal inflections or backings. He's not actually singing as a backing vocalist, is he?
He refers to them as vocalization.
Yeah.
That's what he calls it.
Chop, chop, chop.
That's his contribution.
So, I mean, but obviously you are happy back being in the band, yeah.
Yeah.
So what are your plans then? I mean, obviously you have a family as well, and you know, going on the road is something that, with respect, it's not the sort of place for ladies, as we say back in the UK. I mean, but the great thing is, I mean, it's a tough project, you know.
Yeah, I don't think the road is ever something we're going to be doing hardcore. So, you know, if they can fit me in every now and then, I'd be happy to show up.
We'd be very happy to see you there as well.
Yeah,
and much better looking than anyone else in the band.
Going on the road is very difficult for us because we do have lives and we have a lot of responsibilities, both business-wise and family-wise. So we have to concentrate our live performances in very small, well-thought-out doses, which is why this works out great. And trying to get Quebec to time with this works out, but we're not ever going to be the kind of band that's just going to be able to say, hey, let's spend 3 months and go out and play in Peoria. And it can't be done.
Let's go and do the old umbrella.
We can be more productive in the studio.
Yeah.